Hey guys, it's Alex. How you doing? Today, I'd like to bring you guys a video, a standalone video, as opposed to the normal live streams you guys are used to seeing. And the reason being is I'd like to try to see if algorithmically this helps out the channel. So, real quick, I wanted to give you guys an example of how to properly date a woman that is older. For a lot of you younger cats, guys, in your, I would say, mid to late 20s, early 30s, this is going to start happening to you. You're going to start coming across these type of people. And I received an email from a listener who wanted to recount his dating story when it comes to dating an older woman. It's a little bit of a long read, but I think you guys will enjoy it. It says, yo, bicho, I thought I would share a story with you because a lot of what you've said on the dating channel resonates with it. Story's a little lengthy, but it was fun while it lasted. I own a small shop, and we used a temp service to get a receptionist about 8 to 10 months ago. They sent us a lady who had come on hard times with her business as she did 3D house scans. And when the market skyrocketed, houses were essentially selling themselves. So no one was doing the trick 3D tours of the house. She's a decent looking lady, 46 years old, 130 pounds. Not bad. Nice fit body, hikes every weekend, etc., etc. She starts and is doing what we need her to do, sorry, without any issues. As she gets a little more comfortable, she starts sharing some personal info. That's, isn't it interesting? Once you start working with a woman, and the moment she starts sharing personal info, you know where that is going to start leading. She was recently divorced in the past year, 3 teenage kids. Husband left with a new chick and moved back to Pennsylvania, where they were originally from. She asked me about my personal life, and I'm not much of a people person, so I kept it as brief as I always do. One day, she asked me if I can help her look for a dirt bike for her 13-year-old son. Look for a dirt bike. Okay. Yeah, like, like she can't find a dirt bike. And I said, sure, no problem, as I've been in the ATV, UTV industry for 20 plus years. She takes it a little further and asks if I'd be willing to go look at one with her when she finds one that she thinks would work. So once again, I tell her, no issue, but somewhat under my breath, I'll tell her, but it's going to cost you. She turns to me and says, you have no idea the ways I can repay you. Guys, I'm telling you, when you're a younger cat, 25, 30, or 30 to 35, you're going to start seeing women in their mid to late 40s be very forward with their approach. They're not going to really sugarcoat many things. But this guy, as you'll hear as I read on, treats her exactly how you should treat her. So at this point, I know that it's game on. And tagging a chick that's 10 plus years older than me has always been on a bucket list deal for me. In the next couple of weeks, she starts to share some more in-depth information on the husband/divorce. She winds up telling me that he's a bigwig for a hospital and that he makes $310,000 a year. And he took off with a nurse that makes $120,000+ a year. A year later, and left her with her kids and the house. So he left with a hot nurse. By the way, if you work in the medical field, I've already told you guys, nurses be trifling. They be trifling, okay? And they get themselves a doctor, and the doctor is surrounded. And every new year, a doctor or physician gets a new crop of chicks, and it's difficult for him to keep his, you know what, in his pants. He says, all the times you've talked about dudes having stature comes to mind when she says that he makes 310 a year, and I ask how old the nurse was, and yep, she was 10 years younger than the wife. She tells me that I left because she wasn't bringing home enough money, and I think to myself, no dude that makes $310,000 a year gives a crap what his wife brings in. Like, why the hell 310? And he is not mad about how much money she makes. He's mad that the poom poom isn't good, and he found younger, sweeter, tighter poom poom. It was strictly that he was capable of bringing the younger chick with his stature, and time with the wife and kids had already run its course, and he was done with it. A couple of months later, we had to let her go because she took 2 back-to-back vacations. We've all talked about on the channel, adventure, vacations, seeing the world. I have no idea why women are obsessed with seeing the world. The only thing I can think of, and my girlfriend verified it, is they just want to bang dudes in different parts of the planet, basically. So basically, they were unannounced vacations, according to him. Yep, single woman, world traveler bullshit. Boy, he nails it. She finds me on Instagram a couple of weeks later and finds and finds me and follows me and sends me a DM to ask why our HR lady let her go. I tell her it's because of the vacations and that we needed more steady help. She didn't understand and thought she was doing a good job. And I told her we couldn't miss over 2 weeks within the first few months of working there. One night, a few weeks later, she sends me a direct message and asks if I would be an employment reference for her. So I tell her, yeah, sure thing. No problem. Then she asked me if anyone else in the office had said anything about her. I pondered it for a minute and I thought, well, this is a decent window, so I went for it. And I kind of chucked the other office girls under the bus and told her that they were talking about her tits as if they were fake or real. So she replies back that, blushing, that they were real and thanks to the other girls in the office for the compliment. Guys, you, you want to see tits? Ask a woman if they're real or fake. And maybe an older women, because older women have a shorter window and their life, their sexual marketplace value is dropping so fast that they're just willing to do kind of anything to get your attention. 5 minutes later, boom, titty pics to prove a point. Worked out just like I wanted it to. About a week later, she sends me a DM about 10 a.m. and wants on her phone to meet her for lunch. And she's going to be over by my shop having coffee with a friend. And I tell her, sure. So we have lunch and man, let me tell you, this is where the why the husband left thoughts started to come into play. Everything she's talking about is so far out there. Damn near pipe dreams. Shares that her goal within the next 10 years is to be in the Caribbean with their own sailboat. And I'm thinking to myself, that would be cool for about 10 days. And then what? Keep in mind, this lady can't even change her own oil on her Jeep. And she's going to go out to the Caribbean and sail? Stop it. Women have these pipe dreams that they want to just like climb Mount Kilimanjaro and see Machu Picchu and live with the pygmies and help African tribes. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? Then she starts in on me about how I should get away from who I'm working for, even though I'm one of the owners, and how I can do so much better for myself. I kind of laugh it off while thinking, okay, lady, whatever you say. Thinking she has all this shit figured out, living off that child support alimony money without a job, and I'm out here living 666 lifestyle on Easy Street. We wrap up lunch and go our separate ways. She messages me about 15 minutes later about what a good time she had and that we should do it again. I said to myself, doubt it, and I go about my day. A couple of weeks later, she wants to meet again. So I decide this might be a now or never bucket list deal. So fuck it. We do the lunch deal again. I listen to more blah, 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 traveler garbage. And what about she has planned for her next job? I walk her back to her Jeep, which is way in the back of the parking lot. Now, guys, when there's ample space in a plaza that you guys decide to meet up at, women are pretty calculated. If the car is parked in the back by the dumpster, y'all might bang. Just saying, always come ready. When you go on a first date, guys, be ready. Shit might pop off. So the Jeep was parked way back in the parking lot. She gives me a hug, and once again, I see an opportunity, so I open the front passenger door and tell her to sit down. So it's a Jeep. So I'm thinking because it's taller, he's gonna go munch on the carpet. And I hooked into her within a couple of minutes, sent her to the moon, and she has an orgasm all over the front seat of her Jeep. He's a little more graphic than that, but for the sake of keeping it rated R, not XXX, I'll say she orgasmed all over the front seat. Whatever. She's looking at me like that was the first time she'd ever done that and had no idea what just happened. Big mistake, bro. Stage 5 clinger would be an understatement. She wants to know when's the next time is going to be, and that's all she can talk about. So once you've hooked into an older woman that is recently divorced and the next guy she gives attention to, especially a younger guy, starts to make her feel real good, they tend to be a little obsessive, possessive, and all they want, it goes from talking about their life, and once sex happens, it's nothing but sex for the next week or two, and that's how long the relationship lasts. About 2 weeks of just straight banging and messing around, and then after that, it kind of fizzles out, in my experience. She wants to know when the next time's going to be. About a few days later, I leave my shop to go home, and she wants to swing by. So we both know it's one reason and one reason only. So I knocked off a bucket list item. She was so boring. Guys, women that have been in long-term relationships, they've been used to banging one guy, or maybe they dabbled in the middle, but they're not out there dating and up to date on the dating moves that are being practiced out there. So sometimes you might get an absolute starfish in bed. She got hers multiple times, and I was actually putting in work because it was something I wanted to do for years, and that's all I could think of when she said or did something. I was like, shut the fuck up, lady. This is why your husband left you. So basically, he could see in her why the husband left. He just wanted to knock off a bucket list item, got his, she got hers. And basically, guys, that's what I'm telling you. When it comes to dating older women, what can they provide to you? If you're a young man, 25, 30, 35, an older woman, not only, let's say 46, just like this, let's say 46, 47, like this gentleman had experience, they can't provide you a child. They can't provide you peace. They can't provide you anything that a younger woman can. You know what I mean? A younger woman, if you're 35, 40, you can get yourself a 25, 30-year-old, and they'll provide a lot more in terms of you can mold them into something that you'd like. They're not already jaded and spoiled, and kids come out of that vagina plenty of times, and now they hate men because they run off with younger chicks. Oh, wow, big surprise there. So typically, this is what I tell young guys: get yours, get your experience, and then by the time your head is fully out of your ass, go find yourself a nice young 20-year-old. And if you want to do a marriage thing, that's on you. If you want to do a relationship thing, that's on you. If you want to do a kid thing, that's on you. I would just date him, honestly. So he says, she still hits me up occasionally and I just brush her off. I have a strange feeling she's going to be single for a long time. It's crazy the amount of times you've said something on the show that lines up perfectly with my experience with an older woman. And when other guys on the chat talk about something with an older woman, I yell at the screen, don't do it. Now, I disagree with him there. Go have your fun, but don't be going chasing after older women to be in a relationship with. That just doesn't work. It was an easy in and out situation for me since I knew all along it was just a if my ex-husband can do it, I can do it too scenario, since I happen to be 10 years younger than she is. Good shit on both chats. Hope all is well. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So guys, this gentleman pretty much on the chat puts a blue check mark on the things that I've been saying in terms of dating older women. Sometimes older women want to get back at their husbands, so they think that by smashing a younger dude, that's get back, so that maybe later on they can say, oh yeah, well, I started just banging a bunch of young dudes in my town to get back at the situation. Now understand this, when someone comes off of a recent divorce or recent separation, they can get back together. So be really careful, guys, regardless of the age. When you meet somebody and they're just coming out of a breakup, you might be the rebound. You might end up, don't fall in love until there's verification that those two are finally over. And in this gentleman's case, this woman was 10 years older than him. He knew what the deal was. He got his split act and bounced out of there, which I tell you, younger guys, that's not a bad way of living your life. But don't be out there falling in love with older women, okay, when they've had a checkered past, a bunch of baggage. It's just something that you don't want to get involved in. So this guy had his fun. She had her fun. And I thought it'd be a good story to bring you guys to the chat. So expect more videos like this going forward. I'd like to cut down the chats because I want to experiment on this channel a little bit. It's a fun time. I'll still have live chats once in a while, but not as often as before because I want to try the video upload format to see algorithmically if that pushes the channel further along. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.